Hi, today I'm going to show you how to do English paper piece patchwork. So here's all my lovely patchworky bits. I've got this beautiful box. It was Ferrero Rocher, but now it's filled with all these beautiful hexagons that I've made. I'm going to show you how to make them too. And then once you've made these single hexagons, you join them together to make these beautiful flowery hexagons. And then once you've joined one flower together, you can join it to another flower and another flower and another flower until you get a beautiful patchwork quilt, which is what I'm going for. And you can see that these patchwork flowers that I've previously done all tessellate together and are going to make an amazingly colourful patchwork quilt to go in my little reading nook. So that's how far I've got so far. I've got lots more materials to make into patchwork. I just collect any material that I think, wow, I really like that, like these happy little frogs here, and I think I've got some snails somewhere, yeah, some happy little snails, and I like sort of contrasting colours, so I can just go to different fabric shops. Oh, I always make sure it's the same weight in 100% cotton. Most fabric shops have got a patchwork quilt section, and you can just get either a fat quarter of it or a metre of it if you really like it. I think this looks like a fat quarter. Oh no, I've cut bits out of it, but yeah, a fat quarter is about that size with the added bits that I've cut off. And you can get lots and lots of different materials that way, and you can join them together into these beautiful flower shapes, and then you can join all the flower shapes together. I'm going to show you how in this video. So the first thing you need to decide on your patchwork is what shape you're going to use, and I like the hexagon because you can't make a hexagon patchwork quilt on a machine, so every time you look at it you think, yeah, I made that, and no machine did it. So you get a hexagon template. This one's called So Easy Mini Hexagon, and you can get them any size, but I like this size. And then you need a piece of paper or card, but paper's good. And then you simply draw around your hexagon. And then with some paper scissors, not with the material scissors obviously, you cut out all of these shapes. So you've got these paper shapes, and then once you've got your paper shapes, you're going to pin them to your material. So I really like that pink, although actually that blue would really show up against the camera. So get your length of material and lay it pattern side down, so we're working on the back of the pattern. I'm going to take our paper pieces and lay them on the material, seeing which way we can get the most pieces on, but I think either way we're just going to get two. on here because we want a nice bit of material all the way around. We don't want to be skimping on the seam allowance because that's our patchwork quilt will just fall apart after a little while. So yeah, there's no good reason to skimp at this stage. So with your pins, you're going to pin your piece of paper to the material, like so. And I'll get one more in there. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's probably the best use of the material. Okay, just go along and pin your paper patchwork pieces to your material. Then we're going to cut the patchwork pieces out. And as I say, you need to leave at least a finger's width of material around the edge. Them out, and what I do is I have a little basket in here. I collect all the bits that I'm going to cut off, and then I use that for crazy patchwork later, or if I just need a little snippet of something. So I don't chuck anything away. There's all lovely material that we can use. I mean, you can use this to cover tins and jars with a bit of Mod Podge as well. That's always good fun. So that's our cut out template. Just do these ones. So I'm just making sure that there's a seam allowance all the way around our hexagon. Last one. There we go. Some bit saved. So then we have our patchwork pieces pinned onto the material. So next we need a sewing thread and cotton. And we're going to take our pieced patchwork and we're going to fold that material over, and then we're going to stitch that down, the running stitch, onto our piece of paper. And we're just going along with a running stitch. And then when we get to the corner, we're going to fold it down, giving it a nice crisp edge, and then just with a tacking stitch secure that corner, and then run your stitches along. Get to the corner and fold and secure that corner down with your thread and a running stitch. All the way along. you just keep folding the corners or folding the flat edges down when you get to the corner and securing with your running stitch until you've covered your hexagon with the paper. I think I'm going to run out of thread and have to rethread my needle, but that's okay. Oh, might be okay. So you just go all the way around until you secured all the edges to that bit of paper. So you're actually sewing through the paper and the material. And then you've got this lovely disc, hexagon disc of loveliness, ready for your patchwork quilt or whatever you're making. You can make a patchwork bag, hat, anything. So once that's secure, you can take the pin out, and there we have another hexagon to join our box. So once you've got all these lovely hexagons, you're going to join them together. So there's different stages. So I usually have a little tin that I've got my needles in, and my scissors and my threads. So once I've done a whole sheet of making the paper pieces, I'll cut them out. So I've got a stack of them like this, and then of an evening I'll do what I've just shown you how to do. I'll turn them all into little hexagons like that. So I'll just set in of an evening and I'll sew all of these into little hexagons. I've got this nice little tin to keep it all together, and I always use a cheaper sewing thread for this stage because it's only a basting stitch that you're doing, and this stitch is going to come out later once you've sewn it together, so it's not the material, the cotton, that's going to hold the patchwork together forever. So I just use a cheaper cotton for that, or nylon, and then I use a nice decent, this is a polyester thread, but it's a Gutermann, which is a good make. So I use that for actually sewing the pieces together, which is what I'm going to show you now. So once you've made all your lovely hexagons, and there's more, you can place them together how you want them in your flower shape. This is where you can have really good fun with your patterns and different colours. So yeah, I really like that. So that's going to be my next flower, and it's going to look like this once I've sewn it together. So I've got surplus of needles here. So take off a bit of thread, thread your needle, take 2 pieces of your patchwork and put them right side to right side, so you've got the wrong side facing you. And we're just going to stitch along one of these sides. So we're going to go in at the corner of one and through the other one. And we're just going to do a whip stitch to join these two together. So you just whip it through and up and over. join the two together. That's a really lovely thing to do, English paper piecework patchwork, as it you can use different materials as well. So if you had some baby clothes of your kiddywinks or lovely little summer dresses of your daughters and you wanted to make a keepsake quilt, this is a really nice way of doing it. You can mix in their fabrics with some new fabrics if you haven't got enough little summer dresses. You can then, when you wrap yourself up in your quilt when it's made, you can remember all those lovely summer days with your little girls or boys. You can incorporate special people's clothes into your patchwork quilt. Or if not, you can do as I've done and use all new cottons and fabrics. So once you've sewn that one together, you can open it up. You can see that those two are now fixed. And we'll go round and we'll fix all the other patchwork pieces to these ones. So for that one, you'll start and put this side together. Let me show you. So we're going to sew this one to that one. So we've got them right side to right side, so we're looking at the wrong side. And we're going to whip stitch along. Yeah, this is what I do when I'm not crocheting or knitting or spinning yarn. I just love all crafts. They're just so relaxing, and it feels great when you make something, even if it doesn't quite turn out how you planned it. You get better the more you do stuff. And just keep practicing. If it looks a bit odd to start with, just think how you would do it differently the next time, and then just get a little bit better each time. But actually, we're all really critical of our own work, and if you leave it a couple of weeks, if you don't like something you've made, if you leave it a couple of weeks and then go back to it, you'll actually see it with fresh eyes and think, oh yeah, actually I like that. You're not as critical about maybe the stitches you did wrong, or the pattern you didn't quite follow to the word. And if you show it to somebody else, they'll probably really like it too. So when you get to the end, just do a couple of extra stitches, cut it off, and so we've sewn now those two together. We need to sew this together because this is going to be the centre part. So you just fold that one there, so you can get at these two that need to be sewn together. And then take your needle, pop it in, and this is the part of the work that is going to hold over time. So we need to do a few stitches to hold that first stitch in place, as your patchwork quilt will start unravelling. So if you sort of what they call cast on stitches, maybe, don't know. But yeah, just a few stitches all into the same place so it's nice and firm. And then we're going to sew along the edge of these two. And we're still whip stitching along. And I'll get to the end. It's so relaxing. I forgot to carry on talking, so you don't know whether I'm still here or not. I'm here. Or maybe you're going to grab all your fabrics and get a hexagon template and start making yourself a lovely hexagon quilt. It's going to look amazing when it's finished. It's taken me quite a long time to do all of those hexagons, but as I say, I like to sit of an evening. If I've done enough crochet in the day, I just sit and sew. I did these boxes recently with slow stitching, but I also just love paper patchwork. So it's those three sewn together, and then you'll have something like that, and those ones just need sewing up, and then you just keep sewing them together. I mean, you don't need to do a whole flower. You could add that one to that one. Now you'd sew along that edge, and then that edge, and you just keep popping your pieces together. And then once you've got all your pieces together, you can take out the paper from the one that's got it all sewn together. I'm going to do this one because it's all sewn together. I mean, I wouldn't do this until I'd sewn all of my flowers together, but I'm doing it just to show you the next stage of your quilting. So you cut these running stitches away from the square, or sorry, the hexagon that you're trying to take out. You just get your scissor up under these running stitches. It's probably easier with this, with the smaller scissors, and then just pull the stitches out all the way around. And then pull the piece of paper out of your patchwork. Still got a few stitches there to be cut. That's what I'm saying, this first stage with the pink thread really isn't worth using decent thread, because you're just cutting it up at the end stages. And there, and that gets popped in the bin, because it's not reusable, because it's got loads of holes and the edge isn't sharp anymore. But there we have that centre one has now not got its paper in it, and then you'll have a beautiful quilt, and then you can put some wadding in and a backing, and I'll show you that in a few months when I've finished my quilt. But yeah, I hope I've given you some inspiration today of what you can do with some beautiful fabrics, and yeah, a simple hexagon and some paper.